If you want to buy a new gaming PC that's already built for you and also will achieve really high FPS in Fortnite, then this video is going to be for you. I will show you 4 different PCs, one for 144 plus FPS on average, one for 240 plus FPS on average, one for 360 plus FPS on average, and the last one will guarantee you the highest FPS for Fortnite and also for other games at 1080p resolution and 1440p as well. I will try to explain everything as simply as possible and tell you the level of performance that you will get in Fortnite and also in other games. All the links to these Fortnite pre-built PCs will be down below in the video description, and those have the latest prices, so maybe when you're watching one of these PCs it's actually cheaper or maybe a bit more expensive. With that being said, let's start. With the first PC we have the Skytech Nebula from Amazon, and this one has the i5-13400F alongside the RTX 3050 for the GPU. With this system you will be able to play Fortnite at 144 plus FPS on average, so if you have a 144Hz monitor or 165Hz one, there's no need to spend more money than this because you will get the job done pretty easily on performance mode. You also get a 1TB NVMe SSD, 16 gigs of RAM and a 600 watt 80 plus volt power supply. In terms of gaming performance, for other games, you can expect 60 plus FPS on average on high settings in most titles. So if you are working with a tight budget, for $750 you can get a system that's going to be really good for the 144 plus FPS on average in Fortnite and 60 plus FPS on average overall. Now if you want 200 to 240 plus FPS on average, I recommend you getting the same one, but this time with the RTX 4060 for the GPU, and this one is $850, so $100 more expensive, but in my opinion it's worth the upgrade considering the RTX 4060 is much faster than the RTX 3050. In fact, the 4060 is about 59% faster than the 3050 in terms of performance, so Fortnite performance mode will not be an issue, and remember, you will be achieving between 200 to 240 plus FPS on average, even 360 in some scenarios. And if you were wondering how this PC performs in other games, on a 15 game average at 1080p, the RTX 4060 was able to average 90 FPS, and we are talking about high to ultra settings on very high demanding titles. Fortnite was also tested here, but on epic settings, DX11, native resolution, and it was able to average over 100 FPS, which as you know is a very high number considering this is epic quality. And then if you want to make sure that you are getting 360 plus FPS on average, I recommend you getting the HP VicTus 15L. This one has the RTX 3060, which is slightly slower than the RTX 4060, but the reason why this PC is going to be faster, it's because you get the i7-13700. This is a much better processor in terms of gaming than the i5-13400F, especially if we are talking about 1080p resolution on low settings or performance mode, where your CPU is going to matter more than if you are playing on epic or if you are playing more high demanding titles. And since the GPU is actually important for Fortnite, this system will guarantee you to achieve between 240 plus FPS on average and 360 plus FPS on average. The price is actually not bad considering the level of performance that you will get in Fortnite performance mode. So if you have around $900, this one is the best one, and I highly recommend you spending the extra if you can from the Skytech Nebula. In terms of gaming performance for other titles, it's going to be really similar to the RTX 4060 from the Nebula one, slightly slower, so you can achieve 80 plus FPS on average on high to ultra settings most titles, which is awesome. And on top of that, you get 12 gigs of VRAM for the GPU in the RTX 3060. That being said, you can play at 1440p if you want, 60 plus FPS on average, or even more if you turn on the Nvidia upscaler DLSS. And one thing I forgot to mention is that if you want a pre-built PC for Fortnite, I highly recommend you getting an Nvidia GPU because it's much more stable when it comes to Fortnite. Even though I love AMD GPUs in terms of price to performance, Nvidia clearly wins when it comes to this particular game. And this CPU and GPU combo from the VicTus 15L is going to be amazing as well for content creation and productivity work. So if you're on a tight budget and you also want to do content creation on the side, I believe this one is an amazing choice. But if you want to make sure that you're getting more than 360 plus FPS on average all the time, then I recommend you spending the extra, and for $1,500 you can get the Empowered PC from Amazon, with the RTX 3070 and the Ryzen 7 7800X3D. You also get 32 gigs of DDR5 memory, which is going to be amazing not only for gaming but also for streaming. But the main difference here is the CPU, where you get the Ryzen 7 7800X3D, which is arguably the fastest CPU in the entire market, and this is going to be a big factor on your FPS in Fortnite low settings or performance mode. With this PC, I guarantee you will be achieving 360 plus FPS on average all the time, but it is more expensive at $1,500, so that's something to keep in mind. And in terms of other games, on that same 15 game average at 1080p, the 3070 was able to average 112 FPS, which is a very high number considering its high to ultra settings on high demanding titles. And then if you turn up the resolution to 1440p, the RTX 3070 was able to average over 80 FPS. Once again, amazing numbers if you want to play at 1440p or if you want to upgrade to 1440p down the line. In this test, Fortnite epic quality, the RTX 3070 was able to average 134 FPS, which is actually competitive type of frame rates on ultra settings. Then apart from that, you get 500 gigs of SSD and 2 TB of hard drive, so plenty of storage. I wouldn't recommend you spending more money if your main game is Fortnite and you want to achieve really high frame rates, because it's just not going to make sense. PCs that are more expensive are recommended for more high demanding titles, and if your main game is not Fortnite actually and it's a AAA title, or maybe it's a different game that requires more GPU, or maybe you want to play at 1440p or even 4K resolution, then there are better PCs in terms of price to performance in the market. And in that case, I do recommend you watching my video on the best pre-built PCs for this 2024. You will have that video in the top right of the screen, and trust me, those systems are much better in terms of price to performance when it comes to gaming overall and not just Fortnite. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.